Hello everyone, today is Friday, September 7th. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The market's closed about 5 hours ago, and I'm just getting around to making today's video. I had a lot going on. So the charts haven't been refreshed. Our charts are all labeled so that you can differentiate between charts that took place in real time and charts that are historical. Just want to remind everyone that the link and invitation to the webinar, which will be next Wednesday, September 12th, will be in the video description. So you can click on that link and then sign up for the webinar. First up is the E-mini S&P on a 1597 Heikin-Ashi chart. This is using our line break logic. What's interesting about this chart is that the losers are quite small. There are several losers here, but they are tiny based on our logic. So whatever we have going here, this is very desirable because it allows the auto trader to handle several losers without taking it out of the game. The max drawdown, in spite of all the losers today, the max drawdown was $400 or $200 per contract. And so we had a hard time getting started, but then what happens often is we caught a really nice trade here. Actually, two trades, this one and then this one here, was a really nice trade, and that made our day. That actually brought us all the way to our goal pretty much on a single trade. And so we take a look at our money management here. This is a limit order at the close of the bar, so no pullback required, trading 3 contracts, and our targets are 24 and 32 ticks, and then I'm only trailing by the volatility stop, which is these little hash marks. Otherwise, I'm really not using a trailing stop. So the goal here is 1300, so we actually had extreme positive slippage, and that must have happened as looking at the timestamp here. This is 1208 to 1209. The market probably accelerated to the downside, and then we were taken out of the trade. So really solid performance on this chart with almost $200 positive slippage. Next is the DAX on a 34 Heikin-Ashi chart, and this had a very minor drawdown of less than $100 on 2 contracts, and then these couple of trades here, and then these 2 trades here brought us to our goal of approximately 1500. Okay, the crude on a 987 tick chart has been really consistent. Probably 3 or 4 out of 5 days this week this has been positive. Today it did 1280, and the goal on this is 1300, so 1 tick of slippage per contract, or on 2 of the contracts. This is actually trading 3 contracts. So this is basically looking for $400 a contract, and that's a reasonable goal. And really nice looking signals on the indicators here, and the auto trader caught these trades. We are looking at a limit order at the close of the bar, so very nice here. This is using our line break logic, and hence our short signal here, and apparently our filter is such that we don't need red bars to take a line break signal here. Okay, the DAX on a Super Enco 6 tick started off with a drawdown of about 250 per contract, and then basically recovered to finish at 950 with this 3 winning trades at the end here. Our goal on this is 1040, so we probably did hit our goal on this chart and had a little bit of slip. Okay, this is an interesting chart on the DAX 150 tick line break chart. It looks like we went long, and then this was a spike in the market, maybe a news announcement, but we got probably hit our first target and then got trail stopped out. Remember, I believe we have a percentage profit trail stop, and this illustrates the advantage of that. We probably hit 50 ticks, and then 10% of that. Probably in a fast market by the time we get out, it might have been a little bit more, but the profit is based on the max profit achieved. So we had the benefit of that here and got out of the trade before it turned into a loser. And then caught the short position on our limit order with a 5-tick pullback and hit our goal for the day of 1500. Okay, the E-mini S&P on a Super Renko 6-tick trading 3 contracts hit its goal on a single trade. The goal is 1,000 and really well placed position here. Our entry and then our exit, this was just enough to hit our goal, and we exited right here. So it just doesn't get any better than that. Okay, next up is the E-mini S&P on a 5 Renko with a 6 Renko higher time frame, and I believe this hit its goal of 1,000, 1,050 actually, so it had a couple of ticks of slippage, or 1 tick slippage per contract, and 2 very nice trades here. This one actually has fixed targets all the way, and then a trailing stop. After our first target, we're trailing by 0 bars, so this worked out pretty good in spite of itself and hit our goal. People often ask what are the best markets or charts to trade. An easy way to figure that out is just to watch a dozen videos or so, and you'll notice a pattern. You'll see the same charts and markets, as most of what I'm showing here is pretty consistent. So just having a good look over our videos will tell you which time frames and markets are performing consistently, because you'll see them over and over again. And then the idea is to take something like this and try to apply your own ideas. You know, maybe your targets could be different, or maybe your trailing stop could be looser or tighter. Maybe you could hone in on times of the day to the trade. This one here I have starting 10 minutes after the open, and that paid off pretty good, because maybe if I started sooner I might have had a whipsaw. But it's these kinds of variables that you can experiment with the Autotrader and find out what's going to work and what's not. Okay, this is an interesting chart. This is the NASDAQ on a Precision Renko 16150, and basically what I did is I took the crude oil template and put it on the NASDAQ chart, and sometimes that can work really well. Certainly today it did. The most drawdown we had really was only about 100 per contract. This is using our line break logic. There's a lot of trades here, but a lot of winners. We had a little trouble getting started, but then came back. This looks like I start trading at the London Open, but I'm going to change this to trade the US session. As you can see here, that after the US session started, it had its strongest trading here, with a number of winners in a row, just this one loser here. So this looks pretty good. Okay, another Super Renko 4-tick ES with a other time frame filter. This is a 2 Renko, and this actually works because it usually encompasses the lower time frame, and you get a good entry setup, and then sometimes it bypasses some potential whipsaws like this. So this is actually a setup that works. And another side benefit is that the losers are pretty small, and that's another benefit to a setup like this, is that the Autotrader is able to handle the losers. Now this one did have a drawdown of $600 or $300 per contract, but it didn't get stopped out, and then it came back from its deficit to come within. Actually, it hit our goal, and I believe there was quite a sell-off here, as we can see the same timestamp on all these bars. So whatever happened here, there must have been some news, because the market dropped nearly 20 points. I wasn't paying attention to whatever happened today, but the goal is 750 here, and we did 862, so we had positive slippage as a result of this market spike to the downside. Whatever happened here around the noon hour, I'll have to look it up, because this is not a common occurrence. Okay, so in the last few days I've been talking a lot about daily goals, and on this chart I set a $500 goal, and we drew down only about 400, so we came close to our loss limit, but it came back, and it only takes one good trade in the DAX to make your goal, and this was it right here. We had this runner, and that brought us to our $500 goal. So perhaps next week I'm going to do an experiment and set all the charts I follow at $500 goals and see if our frequency of hitting our goal goes up. And I'm going to guess that it will. I think, an educated guess, logically speaking, I believe that, having a modest goal like that. In yesterday's video, I demonstrated that many losing charts did go up $500, $600, $700 or more. In other words, they had an equity high, and that if we had more conservative or modest goals, that we would have hit our goals much easier. Certainly that was the case on this chart, and that kind of bolstered my theory. Okay, I run several different configurations on the E-mini S&P Super Renko 4-tick, and the reason I do that is because it's a really good time frame to trade in the E-mini S&P. Each bar is basically 1 point and requires 2 points for a reversal. So the setup on this one is a limit order at the close of the bar with just, it only has to pull back 1 tick to get filled. That's pretty good. Our targets are, the first 2 contracts are off at 7 and 8 ticks. That's very, very modest. And then we're trailing at 20 ticks. We're trailing by 0 bars, trading 3 contracts, and we're really only looking for $250 a contract profit. And so this did happen. We didn't have a large drawdown here, only about 75 per contract, and then we had 3 winners in a row here and hit our goal. Okay, same on the 5 Renko chart. I think the 5 Renko is a really good time frame, and on this I have fixed targets of 16 and 60 ticks, allowing for a runner. But again, I'm trailing at 16 ticks. I'm trailing by 0 bars, and then at 19 ticks, 20% of the profit. So I'm really kind of tightening it in, and only a 750 goal here. This is trading only 2 contracts, and this probably hit its goal and had some slippage. And what we had is 3 winners and 1 loser. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to look at the webinar link in the video description.